good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, March 2nd, and you know what that means. It's time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. You know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. Let's get into the news. Ring of Honor has a new home for their shows. So Tony Khan announced that they will no longer be taping before and after Dynamites and Collisions. They will instead be taping at the WJCT studios in Jacksonville. They'll be doing probably like a month's worth of tapings over a day or two, and they'll be doing this every couple of weeks. Yes, the studio's smaller. It seats about 100, but it's a start. It's growth. So we'll see where things go. In comparison, the Performance Center where NXT is filmed seats about 400. I just think they'll probably end up seating more once Daily Place opens back up. It was announced that AJ Styles will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. The pretty much last half hour of Raw was all about him, so he will be going into the Hall of Fame. Rocky Romero has re-signed with the New Japan Pro Wrestling. This man is like the invisible hand in professional wrestling. He serves as a liaison between AEW, CMLL, and New Japan. The guy is just really underrated and deserves his flowers. Stand to Deliver NXT will be taking place, they announced on Instagram, Saturday, April 4th at the Factory in St. Louis. As you know, Stand and Deliver is kind of like NXT's WrestleMania, and it will not be going down WrestleMania weekend for the first time in a good minute. The changes happen because it's logistics, and also tickets aren't selling for WrestleMania, which is not good. TKO Financials have revealed that WWE right now is currently had outpaced UFC in revenue growth in 2025. WWE's revenue jumped up 22%, increasing from $311 million to $1.7 billion. UFC saw a growth of 7%, going up to $1.5 billion. What can I say? They're making money. WWE officials were originally split on the signing of Danhausen, but he is here. He's in WWE. He's going to move merch. I highly doubt he wrestles many matches. Expect him to be involved with R-Truth and The Miz and some others. AEW has quietly signed a former WWE talent that was none other than Myles, the former Ashanti the Adonis, made his debut at the recent Ring of Honor tapings. Kind of thought we all thought he was probably going to go to TNA. There was speculation about him going there to join AJ Francis to reform Hit Row and join was it Top Dollar? I forget the name of his group in TNA, but he's now with Tahuti's now with AEW. On the injury side of things, Chelsea Green says she is healing quicker, much faster than she thought she was, so she may be getting back into the ring sooner than we think. Bronson Reed got injured on Raw. He has a bicep injury, tore his bicep, so he will be out for a couple of months. Drilistico has been cleared for in-ring action. He's just waiting to be cleared, waiting to be announced to be back in the ring. Eddie Kingston has been pulled from AEW Dynamite and indie events as he's suffering from some severe migraine issues, and Eddie prioritizes his health. Nick Wayne has made his return at the Ring of Honor tapings, which is all good. Queen Aminata has also getting ready to come back. She's getting ready to return from her neck injury. Looks like things are healing for her. Penelope Ford got injured on Dynamite this past week, going for a moonsault. It just kind of landed wrong. A lot of blame was put on, unfortunately, on Harley Cameron. She's not at fault here, much to the point that Harley Cameron was bullied to delete her Twitter account, which sucks. And Bobby Lashley has also getting ready to be cleared for in-ring action after his injury, so we can see the return of the Hurt Syndicate shortly. But that is the news and the injuries, and we should be right back with the weekend review. All right, we start off with Monday Night Raw, and of course, WWE just not good right now. We're leading the WrestleMania. This show gets a thumbs down. This was not a good show. Even though this was the AJ Styles tribute in the Chamber Go Home show, this was not a good show. Gunther just takes over the show in the beginning. He calls out Goldberg, Cena, Styles, all us losers, all us people that he has retired, which is very true. Adam Pearce escorts him out of the building. Dragon Lee attacks Gunther, and Cody and AJ try to get some semblance of order here. The Vision show up, and they do stuff. Whatever. So we have the last chamber qualifier: Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, and El Grande Americano. This is the match where Bronson Reed got hurt. He was actually supposed to win this match. So they had to call an audible, and Jey Uso won, so he qualified for the chamber. We had throughout the night video packages for AJ Styles. We were in there with Liv, who made her decision. She was there with Dom, Stephanie, and Jade, and she was emotional and reflective, right? And was always going to apologize because of everything that Stephanie McCare had brought up. But alas, Liv is going to live. Attack Stephanie, made her decision, dropped her with an oblivion. There's your choice. Javon was interviewed and he got into a Kofi, so they will have a match. We see throughout the night, we see people that have been with AJ throughout his career. So at this point, we see the Good Brothers and Michin with Tama Tonga Tagaloa. This goes back to their New Japan days. Natalya Natty versus Maxine Dupree ended in a ref stoppage as Natty threw Maxine into the ring post, and Maxine did not get up or move. We were backstage with the Judgment Day, and JD apologized to Finn, and Finn says he needs to do what he's got to do at the chamber alone, and Dom's like, you need help. We're going for the split. I'm expecting Finn versus Dom at WrestleMania. We got the Crate mystery. We found out it's Danhausen at the chamber. We found out it was Danhausen at the chamber. Rusev and Oba have a little stare down. Okay, some big meaty men slapping man meat on the menu. Brock and Paul Heyman are out, and essentially Paul lays out an open challenge for WrestleMania. Anyone in the back to step up to the beast, Brock Lesnar. And I think there's a certain ruler who would gladly step up to Brock Lesnar. Becky and AJ were then in the ring. Becky vows to retire Lee, and we just get plug for the match. Javon versus Kofi was a solid match, but ultimately Javon won with the OG cutter after a distraction. Kofi tried to distract him and it failed, so Javon gets a solid W. We got more video package for AJ. Cash shows up with Abyss. CM Punk teases confrontation with the Roman next week. Io, Raquel, and Kairi Sane chamber qualifier ends with Raquel Rodriguez looking really good here, and winning with the Tahana bomb on Kairi Sane. We did get an injury update on Bronson Reed, which is a biceps tear. We get more AJ Styles legacy, his retirement. He's officially retired, and Taker announces him for the Hall of Fame. So that was it. Raw still sucked. Over on Dynamite, we got Mile High Madness. The show gets a thumbs up because Dynamite was very good. Our opening contest was John Moxley and El Clon in a Continental Eliminator match. And look, El Clon he's that dude. He did everything he could, but Mox ended up catching him with a Paradigm Shift and followed up with a Death Rider. So Mox has now won a couple Eliminator matches against the Don Callis family. Takeshita has got to come up next. We were in a ring with Swerve and Nana. Well, there was a video package, and Nana interrupted saying, listen, we don't care about the fine. We can pay that. We got that bread. Swerve shows up. It's like, look, what I said with Hangman was true at All In. I'm choosing to live with no regrets, and I'm declaring everyone is on notice. Whose house? We were backstage with Brody King. He vows to face Mark Davis, and Bandito offers encouragement. Gabe Kidd versus Orange Cassidy was a good match. And usually I would say, this is a predictable match, but actually Gabe Kidd won the match with the leaping power driver. I'm a huge fan of Gabe Kidd. After the match, Clark Connors attacked Cassidy until Darby ran out with a skateboard, dropped Connors with a code red, Orange punched to Cassidy, and Darby lands a stomp on a Kid with the skateboard. I'm expecting a tag match probably before Revolution or a tag match at Revolution. Orange Cassidy and Darby versus Clark and Gabe Kidd. We're backstage with Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander. And Thunder Rosa vows to defeat Thekla next week with the title on the line. Statlander warns her to be careful, and Rosa says, listen, I don't do careful. And Statlander looked concerned. Heel turn is coming. How they're going to do it, I don't know, but a heel turn is coming for Stat. Kevin Knight defeated Mansoor in a quick matchup, dropping him with the UFO splash. Hangman, he says Hangman will defeat MJF at Revolution and calls himself Hangman's first challenger after Hangman wins, declaring that he's the here and now. That MJF and Hangman have their stipulations lined up. MJF wants one way, no DQ. I can do whatever I want, you cannot. Hangman wants Texas Death. They flip a coin for it. It's one way, no DQ, but Hangman wants to see the coin. Versus a two-sided coin. Brody King got it. And Tony Khan's like, nah, we're gonna do Texas Death, and MJF is panicking. More about the Brawling Birds. They're pretty great. They celebrate their win. This promo is just laced with profanity, but it's good. Then we had the women's tag team title match, which ended unceremoniously as Penelope Ford did get hurt. This was the Babes of Wrath versus Mega Bad, and it was going well until the injury, so they called an audible, which Lena Cross got in and attacked. I think Mega Bad was probably going to win this match. Our next match was Mark Davis versus Brody King, and more Hoss fights, big meaty men slapping man meat. Brody King won this match. It was really good. It went 10 minutes. I kind of wish Mark Davis would have won here, but I understand why Brody King won. Brody and Bandito both laid challenges down for Revolution. Brody wants Swerve and Bandito wants Andrade. Inject both of those matches into my fucking veins. Okada proposes Pro-Okada tag team with Fletcher. Then we got Mile High Madness. This was our main event. It was just anything goes. It was FTR and the Demand versus the Young Bucks, Jack Perry and the Rascalz. Highlight of this match was the double Spanish fly through the table, and Lord. His name is not Miles Bourne. That's the dude at NXT. The Miles something. I can't remember his name. He came out of nowhere with a running. He jumped over the top rope and dropped Ricochet with a cutter. It was great. But ultimately, Bucks, Perry, and the Rascalz win the match, and just an awesome, fun match. Over on Impact, Moose is coming for the system. Our first contest was Mike Santana and Leon Slater versus the Nemus. Solid match, but the Nemus ultimately got the W after Nick Nemeth pinned Slater. And I believe Nick still has his Call Your Shots trophy, so he's coming for that championship. Then we had Danny Luna make her return back from injury, taking on Lei Ying Lee. See, we pivoted because this was supposed to be Danny versus Lei for the women's title, but now the women's title's over in NXT again. Danny Luna got the win, hitting the Luna landing for the W. Man, it's good to have her back. I'm expecting this feud to pick right back up. Alicia Edwards was with Tommy Dreamer and Carlos Silva, and she said she felt lost and she's planning not to resign with TNA. Moose entered as like, look, you the first lady of TNA. Do what you gotta do. He encouraged her to sign. She signed, and she's going to be supporting Moose. I think she eventually will turn on Moose and join her husband in the system. That's just me. We had Mance Warner versus AJ Francis. This is a totally random match. I don't even know why they're fighting, but they really were fighting from the get-go, and they just kept fighting, and the ref couldn't get order, so it was a DQ after Warner struck AJ with the chair, and he kept assaulting AJ with the chair. Got an injury report on Ali, Jody Threat, and Leon Slater. We had a face-to-face in the ring with Mickie James and Ash Elegance. Mickie called out Ash. The concierge interrupted, followed by Ash, and Ash called Mickie washed up. Mickie says, look, I helped get you signed, and now you're trying to intimidate me? And that's what the Elegance brand actually did. Mickie ran backstage as the brand were actually intimidating Mickey's son. She got attacked by Ember Elegance, and Ash dropped her with a DDT. Harley Hudson and Molly Grace summoned Santino to check on Jody Threat, and Dari Ray confronted Santino over all this locker room chaos. He's going to get kicked out. His power is going to be usurped Then we had Jada Stone versus Tasha Steelz. Jada Stone got the surprise victory, building up these new talent. After the match, the Great Hands attacked Stone, and Steelz dropped her with a cutter, and the Great Hands stood tall. Look, TNA ain't afraid of little male on female violence. You know what I mean? We're backstage with Steve Macklin, and security escorted him to the ring. Look, Macklin called Santana selfish. Tom Heffernan confronted him on accountability. Tom got attacked. Tom got dropped. Santana tried making a save. Macklin escaped and shoved Matthew Rubot. I can never pronounce his name. And G. Miller will finish the show on commentary. The main event match was Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy in The Righteous versus The System. Solid match with The System. They are a well-earned unit. Eddie Kingston, Eddie Edwards got the one with the Boston knee party. After the match, The System continued to attack until Moose made the save until he got overwhelmed. And Alicia Edwards ran in to protect Moose, and that's how we end the show. Over on SmackDown, this was the go-home show for the Chamber. This show gets a fist. So before the show, Jey Uso had been attacked, so he was wheeled onto the ambulance, and Jacob wanted to know who attacked him. Jay's out of the Chamber. The women's Chamber participants all got into it. Tiffany Stratton challenged Asuka to a match, and Asuka volunteered Kairi Sane instead. First match of the evening was Uncle Howdy versus Solo Sikoa. Howdy ultimately got the W, but could not get his hands back on the lantern, and MFTs took the lantern and ran away with it once again. Logan Paul proposed to Nick Aldis that he should be in the Chamber, replace Jay. Nick thought about it. Tiffany Stratton versus Kairi Sane was a solid match. Tiffany ultimately won with the prettiest moonsault ever. Chelsea Green was there on commentary. Kairi accidentally just dropped her with an elbow from the top rope. Chelsea Green is awesome. Chamber qualifier stipulation. Nick Aldis announced that Logan Paul and Jacob Fatu will fight, and the winner will go into the Chamber. Heyman didn't like that, but Logan Paul accepted anyway. Miz tried to run from this ass whipping that the Oba family was going to give him. Miz attempted the mentorship angle, but nope. They had a brief exchange, and Oba dropped the Miz with the fall from Grace. Mello had the open challenge for the U.S. title. Matt Cardona stepped up. Matt Cardona got put down. Solid affair. Mello is still your U.S. champion. I'm expecting a multi-man match at Mania for the title. Cancelers Jordan Grace didn't really do much. This was more about Johnny Gargano's depression, and Grace won in 4 minutes. We didn't get the Candice LeRae from PWG. Sammy and Jacob were backstage. Cody encouraged Jacob Fatu, and Sammy questioned Fatu's timing regarding Jay's attack, but ultimately apologized. Rhea and EO put the tag team titles on the line against Nia and Lash, and seeing as how Rhea was already in the Chamber, you knew how this match was going to go. We have new women's tag team champions. So Lash, Legend, Nia. This was a good match. It was a solid match. This is like Nia's 3rd or 4th reign with the tag team titles. Let me check. Yeah, this is her 3rd reign, and it's good for Lash Legend to get this kind of rub from the title win. Solo confronted Nick Aldis, and he's like, "Look, dog, we want out. Look, tag titles we ain't got no challenges." Nick's got an idea. The main event match was Logan Paul versus Jacob Fatu. Winner will get Jey Uso's spot in the Chamber. Fatu dominated early. Logan tried rallying, but Drew got involved, taking out Fatu. Logan rolled up Fatu, and he is in the Chamber. Drew is setting himself up for fair because he keeps getting involved in these matches, trying to stop challengers, and it's probably not going to work. Over on Collision, this was a standard Collision going opposite the Chamber. Not much of consequence. The show gets a fist, but it was really star-studded. We were there with MJF and Kevin Knight. MJF, he wants the stipulation change at Revolution. That's not happening. He's still the best wrestler in the world. Kevin Knight interrupted and mocked MJF and called him and I quote, "cry baby ass bitch." They're gonna go at it. Dynamite this coming Wednesday. The title is on the line. Ciampa, and it was backstage with Jay Lethal. Mike Briscoe interviewed them both, and we touched on all three of their history together in Ring of Honor. And Ciampa is still focused on getting the TNT title. And we had the Death Riders taking on the Don Callis family. It was a 5-on-5 match. It was Yota, Pac, Garcia, Claudio. It was 4-on-4. Taking on Archer, Alexander, Trent, and Rocky. And a good match. It's really solid. Ultimately, the Death Riders won. So they keep going back and forth, trading wins between the Death Riders and the Don Callis family. After the match, Takeshita confronted Moxley, and they just fight to the back. And the rest of the family is fighting with the Death Riders. Let's see what happens here. Then we had Ciampa taking on Jay Lethal. Solid affair. Jay Lethal was a great hand to have. This was just to get Ciampa another win, and he won with the, I think, Project Ciampa. We got a video for the Inspiration. They bragged about their Australian debut and did not like that the Brawling Birds ruined that. So now they'll be facing each other on Dynamite. We got a vignette about the War Dogs. This one was more focused on pumping up Clark Connors, and they will be escalating violence. Then we had the Brawling Birds win a quick match over Gypsy Mac and Tyra Rusami. Easy to hit the 2 birds 1 stone, which is the heart attack. Good. We got a hype for another money match featuring Private Party, the Outrunners, Russian Jalistico, who's back. There's probably another team being added there. Protocada went on to defeat Top Flight. Top Flight, I need dubs for them, but they weren't going to beat Protocada. It sucks. It really sucks. But Protocada's is hot. Fletcher then came out. Fletcher declared that Protocada are the greatest champions, but Jet Speed, they both won belts. And they issue challenges. Fletcher has the TNT title. Okada has the Continental Championship. Let's see what goes on here. I just, and don't forget that Kevin Knight and what's his name? Speedball are the trio champions, and and along with Hangman, they're all going for singles titles. So we'll see. We got a video package with recapping everything with Darby, the War Dogs, and Orange Cassidy. Next match was Tony Storm taking on the Real Deal Zeta Steel. This was good, solid. Zeta got a good rub from Tony. Tony was always going to win the match, and she did, but it helped. Zeta still got some time. She didn't look lost. She's just growing. Respect was showing after the match. Marina Shafir attacks Tony until Yuta pulled Tony off, and Tony removed Yuta's head. We get to finally see that bald head backstage. Hook, he's scouting for the ops. Anthony Bones wants to join, and Hook's like, yo, I'm a killer, Joe's a killer, Shibata's a killer, what are you? Now see, this is going to be the catalyst to finally get the Acclaimed back together. The sister of Sin took on Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. I would have loved this match more if the Sisters of Sin had won. They've got to start winning matches. They are a great team, and I get it. It's Chris and Stat to push the story along, but I need the Sisters to get the W. After the match, Thekla came out. She called Rosa and Stat both dumb bitches. Taunted Rosa over her past title losses. Well, there's a title shot coming this Wednesday. We'll see what happens. And the main event match was Andrade versus Tomohiro Ishii. Fun match, solid match. These two dudes just work together well. If you only seen Ishii in AEW, you wouldn't know really, how big of a win this is for Andrade. But Andrade ultimately got the win with the DM. Bandito confronted Andrade after the match. They offered a handshake. Andrade spat in Bandito's hand, and Bandito pointed to the Revolution sign. That match may steal the show. Our matches of the week, ladies and gentlemen, nothing from WWE, I'm sorry to say. From Dynamite, Jon Moxley versus Clon at the Continental Eliminator match. Also from Dynamite, the Mile High Madness Anything Goes match. The Bucks, Rascalz, and Jack Perry versus The Man and FTR. And just a great showing from New Japan. They had their New Beginning pay-per-view. Oleg Boltin versus Tomohiro Ishii for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. Syuri versus Athena for the IWGP Women's Championship. Probably my favorite match of that entire show. And Yota Tsuji versus Andrade El Idolo for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Just go check out that entire show. Our stars of the week, got to give it to AJ Lee for becoming your new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Myles Borne for becoming your new North American champion, the Vanity Project, will becoming your new NXT Tag Team Champions, and of course, Lash Legend and Nia Jax will becoming your new Women's Tag Team Champions. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look at the screen what we got coming up. You can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. I'll see you next week. Peace.